Have you ever heard someone laugh off the .22 Magnum like it's just a souped-up squirrel round? Well, they won't be laughing once they see what this little rimfire devil can actually do, and trust me, you might have been sleeping on it way too long. What's up, everyone? This is Sully from Line 45, and today I'm about to show you why the .22 Magnum could be the most overlooked threat in your ammo stash right now. Before I start, I would really appreciate it if you would push those buttons below. The subscribe button, the notification bell, all of them. This is not necessary, but those little clicks help a brother out. Plus, it pushes me to give you more valuable car-related content on your screen. Now buckle up and let's get back to the video. Now I remember the first time I chambered a .22 Magnum in my old Marlin 983. I was out on the back 40 just plinking cans and checking zero. I'd shot plenty of .22 LR before, so I wasn't expecting much of a jump. But the crack off that first shot told me right away this wasn't just some hopped-up squirrel round. It had a bite. That was the moment I started paying real attention to what the .22 Winchester Magnum rimfire is actually capable of. The .22 Magnum came out in 1959 thanks to Winchester, and it was designed to offer a noticeable step up in power without going full-on centerfire. It uses a longer case than the .22 LR and usually comes loaded with jacketed bullets. That helps with penetration and keeps leading out of your barrel. From a rifle-length barrel, you can get over 2,000 feet per second with a 30-grain bullet. Even out of shorter pistols or revolvers like the Kel-Tec PMR-30 or a Ruger LCR, you're still getting serious velocity. It's more than enough for small game varmints or even self-defense if that's your angle. In the grand scheme, the energy output is what really sets it apart. Most .22 LR rounds barely crack 100 foot-pounds. The .22 Magnum delivers around 300 foot-pounds from a rifle. That puts it right next to .380 ACP and within striking distance of light 9mm loads. And all of that comes in a rimfire package that's easy to carry, easy to shoot, and easy to store. So if you've been lumping .22 Magnum in with the rest of the plinkers, it might be time to rethink that. But what makes this caliber punch above its weight? Back when I switched from a .22 LR to a .22 Magnum for my varmint rifle, I didn't expect it to feel so different. But the first few shots out of that Ruger American rimfire told me everything I needed to know. There was more crack, more distance, and a noticeable difference in how hard those rounds hit. It didn't feel like a rimfire anymore. It felt like something in its own league. On paper, a 30-grain .22 Magnum load from a rifle can hit velocities up to 2,200 feet per second. That's nearly double what you get from a standard .22 LR. Even heavier bullets in the 40-grain range still manage 1,800 to 1,900 feet per second. From handguns like the PMR-30 or a Ruger LCR, you're still getting over 1,200 feet per second, depending on barrel length. That extra speed translates directly into flatter shooting and harder hits downrange. When it comes to energy, the difference is just as big. I mean, a 40-grain .22 LR usually delivers around 100 to 120 foot-pounds. With a .22 Magnum, that same bullet weight easily pushes over 300 foot-pounds from a rifle and holds around 125 to 160 from most pistols. The contrast is really there. That puts it in the same category as some .380 ACP loads, which is no small thing for a rimfire. But it's the penetration that really impressed me. Running Hornady's 45-grain critical defense into gel gave me consistent 12 to 14-inch tracks. That's deep enough to meet FBI recommendations for defensive use. It may not expand like a high-end 9mm, but it goes in straight and doesn't stop short. And out in the field, that flat trajectory is gold. Whether I'm targeting raccoons or sighting in at 100 yards, it stays consistent and predictable. For a rimfire, the .22 Magnum carries its weight better than most expect. Now that you've seen what it's capable of ballistically, let me get into how it holds up when you actually need it. Of course, this is what really seals the deal for most of you here. A few seasons back, I was running my Savage B-22 Magnum during a night hunt on a friend's property. We had a coyote problem, and I didn't want to lug around a big centerfire rig through the brush. That .22 Magnum loaded with 30-grain VMAX dropped one clean at just under 60 yards. Lights out. No tracking, no second shot. That hunt really showed me that .22 WMR is no slouch when it comes to getting work done outside of the paper range. When it comes to hunting small to medium game, the .22 Magnum consistently performs better than most folks give it credit for. I've used it on raccoons, skunks, and even the occasional armadillo down south, and every time I'm impressed with the clean results. From a rifle rounds like the Winchester 40-grain jacketed hollow point or Hornadi's 30-grain VMAX, hit hard and expand reliably, especially inside 100 yards. Shot placement is still crucial, but the energy is there. I've had center punch shots on varmints that didn't take a single step. Now, for personal defense, I sometimes carried the Smith & Wesson Model 351C in a pocket holster during hikes and travel. Its lightweight holds 7 rounds, and with a solid load, like Speer Gold Dot or Hornady Critical Defense, you're still getting reliable 12 to 14 inches of penetration in gel tests, even through layers of denim. No, it's not a 9mm, but try getting 7 fast and accurate shots off with a .35i7 Magnum snubby. That's where the .22 WMR shines. Recoil as light muzzle rise is minimal, and for folks who don't have the grip strength for bigger calibers, it's a lot more manageable. What really sealed the deal for me was seeing how well it did through barriers. Shooting into water jugs, plywood, and even stacked phone books back in the day, the jacketed rounds held together better than I expected. Whether in a rifle or compact revolver, the bullet holds form and keeps pushing. So yeah, the .22 Magnum has more bite than most people expect. But even with all that real-world power, a lot of shooters still skip over it, which I really don't understand. Let me explain this to you. Let me address the elephant in the room. A lot of people snicker when they hear about someone carrying a .22 Magnum for self-defense. The usual reaction is that rimfire rounds are unreliable, underpowered, or just not serious enough. But the truth is, the .22 WMR has evolved far past those assumptions, and in the right setup, it's more than capable of holding its own in real-life defensive situations. First, reliability is often brought up when discussing rimfire ammunition. While the .22 LR can be finicky due to its softer case and lower pressure, the .22 Magnum is built differently. Most defensive .22 WMR loads use jacketed bullets and are made with more consistent powder charges and better priming than bulk .22. In my own carry experience with the Smith & Wesson 351C and the Kel-Tec PMR 30, I've found modern defensive ammo like Speer Gold Dot and Hornady Critical Defense to cycle cleanly and ignite consistently, even after extended carry time. Performance-wise, you're looking at some very solid numbers. From a short-barreled revolver defensive .22, Magnum loads can still hit between 100 and 300 feet per second. Ballistic gel tests have shown that rounds like the 40-grain Gold Dot will penetrate 12 to 14 inches, even through heavy clothing, which puts it in line with the FBI's accepted standards. Expansion is modest, but penetration is reliable and consistent, which is critical in a defensive scenario. Where the .22 Magnum really earns its stripes is in controllability and capacity. Recoil is low, making rapid follow-up shots much easier, especially for shooters who struggle with heavier calibers. Guns like the PMR 30 offer 30 rounds of capacity, and even compact revolvers give you 7 or 8 shots. That's more chances to hit your target under stress. And yeah, for elderly shooters, those with arthritis, or anyone sensitive to recoil, this round offers a dependable and manageable alternative. Defensive shooting is all about accuracy under pressure, and in the hands of someone trained and confident, the .22 Magnum performs far better than it's given credit for. I mean, I can vouch for the 9mm all day, but I would never downplay what the .22 WMR can do. But if it's so capable, then why do most gun owners pass it over? Truth be told, I lost count of how many folks would walk right past the .22 Magnum section without even glancing at it. Most were looking for 9mm or 45 or something with a little more so-called kick, and I get that. But every now and then, I'd hand them a lightweight revolver chambered in .22 Dow WMR and say, "Just dry fire this once and feel the difference." Most of them were surprised by how manageable it felt and how many rounds it carried. The biggest reason people overlook the .22 Magnum is that they don't understand how different it is from the .22 LR. A lot of shooters assume it's just a slightly louder plinking round, but that couldn't be further from the truth. It runs hotter, penetrates deeper, and comes in bullet designs specifically engineered for defensive use. I've carried Hornady's Critical Defense in my 3.58.1C for years, and I've watched that same load punch deep into gel during demos. It consistently reaches 12 inches or more, even through layered clothing. Another reason it's brushed off is that people equate power with effectiveness. Yes, it doesn't have the raw energy of a .357 Magnum, but it also doesn't punish your hands or climb off target after every shot. With my Kel-Tec PMR-30, I can land 5 hits in the time someone else might get off 2. And when you're under stress, that kind of controllability matters more than you think. Cost and availability used to be a drawback, but lately I've been finding .22 Magnum in stock more often and for decent prices. It is not bulk ammo cheap, but for what it offers, it's fair, especially when reliability and performance are consistent. Most folks who ignore it simply haven't seen it perform. Once they do, their opinions change quickly. Let's move on and take a look at the best guns chambered for .22 Magnum that is worth having in your lineup. If you're sold on the performance of the .22 Magnum and thinking about adding one to your lineup, the good news is that there are some seriously solid options out there right now. Whether you want something for concealed carry trail defense or small game hunting, there's a .22 WMR platform that fits the job. I've had the chance to shoot most of these personally, and I can say they're far from gimmicks. These are reliable, purpose-built firearms that take full advantage of what the .22 Magnum can do. Let me start with one of the most talked-about semi-autos in this category, the Kel-Tec PMR-30. This pistol is a game-changer. It gives you 30 rounds of a .22 Magnum in a lightweight polymer frame, and it does so with impressive reliability. It weighs just 13.6 ounces unloaded, which makes it easy to carry, especially in a chest rig or pack. The fiber optic sights and crisp trigger make it fun to shoot and surprisingly accurate out to 50 yards. It's ideal for backcountry carry or even as a truck gun when you want high capacity with very little recoil. If you're more of a revolver shooter like me, the Smith & Wesson Model 3.551C is one of the best defensive revolvers in this caliber. It's a J-frame with an alloy frame weighing just under 12 ounces. It holds 7 rounds of .22 Magnum and has an enclosed hammer for snag-free draw from concealment. I've carried this in a pocket holster during road trips and hikes. It is reliable and lightweight, and with loads like Speer Gold Dot or Hornady Critical Defense, it delivers consistent performance. For those who want a field or ranch gun, I suggest you don't skip the Ruger. Single 6 convertible is a classic. It comes with 2 cylinders, one for .22 LR and one for .22 Magnum. Built like a tank and incredibly accurate, this single-action revolver is a favorite among outdoorsmen. The stainless steel model is perfect for harsh weather, and it is ideal for pest control or just fun target shooting with a bit more punch than .22 LR. We got some good rifles too, like the Savage B22 Magnum FVSR is a bolt-action tack driver. It has a threaded heavy barrel, a one-piece Picatinny rail, and Savage's adjustable Accu trigger. Whether you are hunting varmints or just ringing steel, this rifle delivers sub-MOA accuracy with the right ammo. It pairs well with scopes or red dots, and at around 6 pounds, it's easy to carry in the field. Another strong option is the Henry Lever Action .22 Magnum. If you want old-school charm with modern reliability, this rifle is a blast to shoot. It cycles smoothly, holds 11 rounds, and has beautiful walnut furniture. It's great for small game plinking or even keeping by the door for pest duty. With these platforms, you've got plenty of options to tap into everything the .22 Magnum brings to the table. After running thousands of rounds through rifles, revolvers, and semi-autos chambered in .22 Magnum, I can tell you this round deserves way more credit than it gets. It offers a unique balance of speed penetration and low recoil that few calibers can match. What makes it dangerous is not just its ballistics. It is the fact that it flies under the radar. Most shooters underestimate it until they see it in action. Between the controllability, the high-capacity options, and the surprising depth of real-world performance, the 22 WMR quietly checks a lot of boxes for self-defense hunting and field use. It is not perfect. It will not replace your duty pistol or your 308 for long-range work. But for those who want versatility without the bruising recoil and something reliable that does not overcomplicate training, the 22 Magnum is a serious contender. If you've been ignoring it, it might be time to give it a second look. You might be surprised what this little rimfire round is really capable of.